My name is Danielle Lavoie, and this is my quality improvement project. I will be speaking on improving the mock BOC exam scores by incorporating more evidence-based practice and evidence-based research into the athletic training courses at the University of West Alabama. In order to better the BOC pass rate at the University of West Alabama, the program director and the former clinical coordinator implemented a mock BOC exam. This exam, the idea behind it was to improve retention of information that the students had previously learned about, uh, to discover weaknesses and strengths of the students, as well as to allow the students to feel a little bit more comfortable with test taking of this nature in order to prepare them for the actual BOC. So the format of the exams are given each clinical class each semester. Questions are multiple choice questions that come from previous course exams, as well as questions from a BOC prep book titled Athletic Training Exam Review, A Student Guide to Success by Lynn Van Alst, Karen Manfree, and Karen Liu. Students have 3 shots at passing this exam with a 75% or better each semester. Because of the lack of athletic training courses that our sophomores actually get that first semester that they're admitted, they are not tested, as well as our senior students are not tested because they are preparing for their actual BOC that second semester. So over time, it's been seen that there have been too many that just are not passing with that 75% or better. And we've been racking our brain at what is going on. So we sat down with the students and kind of had a little brainstorming session on what was truly the issue. Um, Students brought to light that they felt that a lot of pivotal classes are being taught only by instructors' opinions and experience. Not very much of evidence-based research is incorporated in the courses, and we have, since considered that a problem. So this is where the idea for this project has evolved. So this is my needs assessment flowchart. So as you can see here, sophomore through senior level athletic training courses, again, except for that first semester sophomore year or last semester, spring semester senior year. Each BOC exam is designed specifically for each student. It includes material that they have received. Sometimes our students can go a little bit off track with what our course plan has designed for them. So in that event, it is required that we go through each of their transcripts and be sure that we're testing them only on material that they have seen before. Students take each exam in the clinical course. That first time, did they pass the 75% or better? If yes, then they are done. They don't have to take the exam again until the previous semester. If not, then they take it again. This new test, the second attempt test, is again individually designed, different questions from a very large test bank that we have available to us, again with those previous exam questions as well as those BOC prep questions. The student takes the exam. Did they pass the 75% or better? Yes, they're good. They don't have to take it again until the following semester. No, they take a new test, again with new questions, same thing, individualized. Did they pass this one with 75% or better? Yes, great, but there is a conversation that will be had between the student and the clinical coordinator about the areas of weakness the student feels that they are weak in, as well as the athletic training staff, as well as the clinical coordinator is seeing where their weaknesses are through the exams and through clinical practice, and we'll kind of discuss that, excuse me, and see ways that we can better that. If they do not pass the exam on that third try, they do have to repeat that clinical class again, and they do have a conversation with both the program director and the clinical coordinator about the future of their program, their time in the program, as well as in the profession as a whole. Just being sure that this is really truly what they want to do. And really truly are ready to put forth the effort for this type of program. So outlined here is my cause and effect diagram. The problem at hand is the mock BOC exam scores. And from analysis of the problem, we've figured that the contributing factors are the materials used, the people involved, as well as the methods. As far as the materials used, course material and the information is really what we consider to be what the students have said is one of the biggest considering factors. Lack of evidence-based practice and lack of evidence-based research utilized in both the classroom and the clinic is an issue in the fact that the students have stated that in the classroom they feel that it's more opinion based and not very research based. So a lot of the time I get responses of, well, we get slides all the time that says that the head athletic trainer's way of doing things is this, and it's the only way in doing things. And that, of course, can be a problem, considering that our upper administration tends to be more quote unquote old school, if you will. Um, and not all the time, but most of the time, there's very, very little research-based information involved with both the clinical or the classroom setting. As far as the people go, the instructors themselves, some are brand new to teaching, and some have been involved in teaching for a while, but education is really not their passion and rely more on what their experience has shown as opposed to research. And obviously, experience is extremely important in education, but the students have discussed their frustration with a lot of the time that's all they're learning about. Um, Instead of research-based information and current reported best practices. Methods, the exam questions themselves has been discussed as an issue. The format has been considered to be an issue. Multiple choice questions, students have discussed how they would prefer more questions that are more formatted like the actual BOC exam questions, as well as the content. The content is half course material, half BOC prep questions. So there's a lot of questions where the students feel like because of their education in the classroom, their questions are they might be similar, the content might be similar, but the answers might be different because they've learned one way in the classroom and then a completely different way in the clinic. And so I get a lot of the time, well, I didn't know who to answer for, the real way or the way that we learned in the classroom. So obviously that can be frustrating. So the QI team, the people involved with this, the clinical coordinator, myself, role being the coordinator of the project, data analysis, data collection, program director, slash sports medicine director. He wears both hats. The originator of the exam, so he has kind of the most say on what the goal is, as well as assisting with the coordination and the planning. The preceptors themselves, inputting on ways to improve the course material for the clinical experiences as well as the classroom experiences, considering that a lot of our preceptors are either teachers' assistants or instructors within the program. And then athletic training students themselves input on ways to improve the courses as well as the exam content and the format. So my aim statement for this QI project is over the next 12 months, have at least 50% or about 7 of our junior class students at the University of West Alabama pass the mock BOC exam their first time in by increasing the amount of evidence-based practice material by 10% in each athletic training course. So in the SMART criteria or the SMART format, specific, increasing the mock BOC scores, measurable, 50% increase in scores, attainable, primarily only using just the juniors, and then I go into more specifics, and I'll talk about that in my PDSA. Reasonable, or already have at least a little less than half of the junior class is actually passing that first time. So this is realistic in the extent of 50% isn't all that far off. So it's not a huge change. And then my time frame being 12 months. So I would like for it to be spring semester, have it a 50% increase by spring semester, so a year from now. Specific measurements of improvement. The outcome measurement is where I feel there's the most need for improvement. So through current analysis of our exams, the students have signified that they would prefer more evidence-based instruction, causing less confusion with testing. So increasing those scores of the mock exams and increasing the first-time pass rate. Hopefully, in turn, increasing our BOC first-time passers. identification and selection of change idea. What change can we make that will result in an improvement? Implementing evidence-based research into the actual course. So formatting that mock BOC and exam questions as well, the content, and to be a little bit more BOC prep friendly rather than questions that they have seen before from those previous courses that were written by the instructors that are actually teaching that material. So to discuss my PDSA, I've kind of drawn up a little table here. So to start off with, the plan already have started with incorporating um, getting together ideas that instructors can very easily incorporate into their classes. So evidence-based research, evidence-based practice type material. So any TA position statements, current best practices, resources, and entrustable professional activities. Now these, just recently learned about these at the Winter Institute at the end of January, early February. Kaylee Welch-Bacon, one of our instructors here at ATSU, spoke about this during the Winter Institute, and it really opened my eyes. So for those that aren't aware, EPAs are professional um, tasks that a learner is entrusted in performing without supervision at any time during training and or at the end of training. So they really are more clinical based, but very easily can be incorporated in a classroom setting, teaching them best practices, if you will. So this is something that I think could be very influential in this program. So the actual do portion, so incorporate those materials that I just previously discussed into the evaluation course specifically, update the format of the mock BOC exam questions to resemble more like the format of the BOC self-assessment exams provided by the BOC itself, and then update the content of the mock BOC exam questions to contain less questions from the actual courses that are the most issue and more from the BOC prep resources. So the study, I would like to collect data over time, over that 12-month period, um, of every mock BOC exam that has been given and taken. Over the next year, I want to plot that data, all of those data points on a run chart to compare the results with the incorporation of the EBP into the evaluation courses over time. Act proof for the need of EBP in all courses. I think that if we narrow it down to just the evaluation courses, there's two offered, an upper and a lower. I think that if we analyze that data of those questions that are just from content from those evaluation courses, and then hopefully see that increase in the students being able to better their exams in that specific area, that we can prove that there will be an increase in the overall scores and hopefully the overall first time passers of the BOC itself. So the spread plan, obviously the huge overall goal is every athletic training class at the University of West Alabama incorporates a large amount of evidence-based research and evidence-based practice into the course. I think that it's absolutely needed in order to make, not make, I feel like that's a bad word to describe students, but to just create the best education for our students and really give them the opportunity to really fully grasp what athletic training is and what it includes, and to give them the opportunity to be the best athletic trainer that they can be. So here are my references. I hope that everybody has enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed putting it together, and I thank you so much.